and it looks as if the rotation is still kind of back a little bit farther.
It's kind of behind the leading edge there.
Yeah,
so.
it certainly is. Yeah, it's what you would call a bookend vortex. A lot of times what happens is you get the air, the outflow kind of rushes out, then you kind of wrap back around and you get a little vortex that kind of forms back a little bit behind the main area that's pushing out. And so that's what we've seen here. And a lot of times those bookend vortexes do sometimes cause tornadoes. And that's what we've seen here with this one here. But again, Greg just reported here from Big Cabin. He reported seeing strong inflow bands coming in from the east and northeast, and that would make complete sense, judging by being that is where the circulation is. But just looking at the velocity data right now, James, I think that this is showing some signs that it has certainly weakened from where we had seen it before, so that would be good news. But still certainly something that is worth watching here as we look at this area here, track off to the north and to the east. But even if you're not under a tornado warning right now, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings that are of concern. Again, we've had winds gusting at times close to 60 miles per hour in some spots as this line has been marching to the east. I know, James, you've had a chance to kind of scan up and down the line here over the last few moments, and what's the latest that you have found?
Yeah, still looking at that bit of rotation now, and it's, as you described it, it's just to the northeast of Chelsea right here. That's where we're seeing just a little bit of this rotation. So Greg McLaughlin is in a really good spot in Big Cabin at I-44 and Highway at Will Rogers Turnpike and Highway 69, looking back into that storm right now. But you can actually sort of see a little bit of that curly structure right there too. So that's going to be the spot if we see a redeveloping tornado. Right now, the rotation does not appear super tight, just to the northeast of Chelsea, and this is going to continue moving gradually, maybe a little bit more to the north as it continues to have a little bit of spin right here in the atmosphere. Now, further to the south, we've got that tornado-warned storm in Pittsburgh County, and we kind of have the bookend tornado-warned storm. One on the north side of our area, one on the south side of our area. In between, a line of severe thunderstorms. Notice this. Kind of a little thin blue line out ahead of this main line. That's an indication that the rain-cooled, stable air is sweeping out ahead of these storms. That means these are a much lower risk of producing any kind of tornado threat. As we look, though, into Pittsburgh County right now, this is our bigger tornado-warned storm. In fact, we're going to take a bigger track of that one because certainly as we look for velocity here, I'm looking for any kind of stronger couplet, and there's one in Cole County just to the northeast of Colgate. I'd put that one kind of right in here, and that may be where the strongest rotation is as that moves to the northeast. So we'll take it to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Eventually this is going to move up into Pittsburgh County, and it's going to be very close to the communities of Kiowa and Savannah, and that also means it's going to be close to the Army ammunition plant too. That's on the west side of Highway 69. So no tornado confirmed with this storm, but we're going to be watching it very closely as well. We're getting a lot of pictures in of tree damage across North Tulsa, where we had that tornado move from just to the north of downtown to just west of Tulsa International Airport, moving almost directly at our camera at Tulsa International Airport, but it was also kind of in a bunch of rain too. So we never did get a visual on that tornado. Let's see, yeah, lots of debris and road apparently blocked too in North Tulsa as this tornado moved right across the north part of the city of Tulsa. Kind of a quick tornado. It was only on the ground maybe 4 miles from north of downtown all the way over to just to the west of Tulsa International Airport. Again, on the left side of your screen, a good look at Greg's video stream as he's moving along probably, I guess that's probably Highway 60, Highway 69, close to Medina. No, he's on the state highway. Just saw the sign go by. So moving again toward that rotating part of the storm that's in right along the northern county line with Mays and Craig County and the extreme western part of extreme eastern part of Rogers County too. So active tornado warnings. Pittsburgh County with this storm, including Kiowa and Savannah until 8:15. The main circulation again creeping up towards Savannah and Kiowa. I'll take you up to the other circulation. This is the one that Greg's giving us such a great view of right now. That is moving to the northeast, getting a couple of warnings dropped in southeast Oklahoma, but not the one in our county, in our coverage area. We look right into the storm. Again, we are all clear in Tulsa. There's really no additional severe weather threat, but there is a flooding threat, and there's still a lot of high water. As we look right now back into this storm that's located just northeast of Chelsea and to the west of Veneta, we're still watching this one very closely too. Greg's got a great visual on that as he moves just a little bit closer. I don't know if Greg's still on the phone with us right now. Okay, we don't have Greg, but we've got his shot, so we're watching that closely as he moves right up over the Will Rogers Turnpike right there. Of course, all familiar with the Turnpike entrance sign. So he's rolling through Big Cabin right now, looks like on Highway 69, probably getting a lot closer to that circulation, what appears to be a big, possibly a wall cloud there with that circulation. But if we were to see a tornado down with that storm, that's where it's going to be. Now, the rotation's a whole lot weaker right now, but we still have the tornado warning in effect until 8:15. So we're going to continue to watch this for you as it moves up west of Veneta. The rotation has been weak. We can check it again on velocity. If we were going to call a rotation, it's probably going to be right here. A little patch of dark red outbound, some green back inbound. It's broad, it's weak, it's not terribly strong. Okay, let's check in with Fox23 Storm Tracker Greg McLaughlin. We've got your stream up, Greg. What are we looking at?
So what you're looking at, I'm coming in from the south. That is the main updraft of this area of concern that we're watching. It is crossing Highway 69 right now. This would be north of Big Cabin. And I don't see a lot of rotation. I'm still moving in on this area of concern, but at the moment I don't see a whole lot in the way of rotation. I will note that there is a lot of flooding that's taking place in low-lying areas, and as we get more rain, we may see some of that water start to cover some of the roadways out here. So continue watching this storm as it tracks north of Big Cabin.
Okay, Greg, we did have a little flare-up in that velocity northwest of Veneta. It's probably transient because as soon as we got another sweep in, it kind of weakened considerably too. So still, you're in a pretty good place as we watch this storm. If this thing's going to spin up, get a little stronger over the next few minutes, now would be the time to do it. The tornado warning continues until 8:15 for that southern part of Craig County now, as that circulation looks like it's just about on the county line, which means we can clear Mays County from the warning, and I think we can pretty much clear Rogers County from the warning too, and just leave parts of Craig County. And you saw that truncate there to take out Mays County part of the warning and the Rogers County part of the warning. So we still have the tornado warning in effect for our Craig County section here, and we also have the other tornado warning in effect for Pittsburgh County as well. Fox 23 meteorologist Michael Sager is still tracking these storms, and thankfully we've not seen a really big focus or very strong rotations like we were seeing about an hour ago.
Yeah, exactly right. And we have seen those rotations mostly fairly broad. At times, though, they have been getting a little bit tighter. That has been prompting our tornado warnings. And of course, as we just saw Fox 23 Storm Tracker Greg McLaughlin, and you can see his shot there to the left. He is just south of where this rotation would be. And you can see in his shot there that he has a great shot of the main updraft portion of this storm. But let's switch this back over here to velocity, and we'll zoom in a little bit tighter here to the north here of Big Cabin, and also here to the north and to the west here of Veneta. But we've had a little bit of an uptick again with some of the velocity data, but overall nothing right now that is overly concerning with what I'm seeing here, but still worth watching as this does track its way here to the north and to the east. Now, if it were to begin to tighten and spin up again, those of you to the north and east of this tornado warning, would be under the gun. So that means those of you here around Blue Jacket and Welch, if this were to tighten up, this would be coming up in your direction as it works its way off to the north and to the northeast, and mostly roughly about 40 miles per hour. I do want to take you back here to the south where we have that tornado warning here for those of you in Pittsburgh County. Here's our storm now coming into southwestern portions of Pittsburgh County. We'll pan here a little bit farther here to the south, kind of get a good look at this storm. And we've also had additional tornado warnings that will be worth watching here over Atoka County that could eventually maybe clip here southwestern portions of Pittsburgh County or work into Latimer County. So those of you here in southeastern portions of the region, I know a lot of our focus so far has been to the north. Those of you here, Haskell County, Pittsburgh County, Latimer County, we're going to have to watch this very closely, even those of you here, McIntosh County and up into Sequoia County. But let's go ahead and switch this over here back to velocity data, and we'll zoom in a little bit tighter here for this area of circulation that's been coming up right around parts of Cole County. So again, that has been the greatest concern here to the south and to the east, or south and west, excuse me, of McAllister. So let's zoom in a little bit tighter here. And it does look like we still have a fairly tight rotation here in the parts of Atoka County. Let's see what we've got. And again, looking here, again, everything is still tracking its way here to the north and to the east. So right there is our rotation. And again, that is going to work here. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. And again, let me see if I can go out just one more scan here. And we'll continue to look at this because this is a decent area of rotation here that is now south of Kiowa that's going to be moving off here to the north and to the east. So let's track this. Yes.
If my mic's open, I do have one piece of important news. Tulsa Public Schools closed for the day. The first plan was to go on at 9. Now they're just going to close. So Tulsa Public Schools closed today, joining a pretty big list of schools that are closed, mainly because of flooded roads, flooding issues, but Tulsa Public because we have had a tornado do quite a bit of damage in North Tulsa.
So there you go, Tulsa Public Schools closed. Again, just with the weather that we've had over the last 12 to 18 hours, it has just been a rough go for a lot of us. So again, sometimes travel being very difficult because of that. Now here's that circulation tracking off to the north and to the east. And again, if that holds together, that's going to bring this here up to around Pittsburgh at 7:55, Arch at around 8:10, Alderson at around 8:16. So again, that's the area of concern there in the parts of Pittsburgh County. And we'll go back to reflectivity here, and you can see again fairly intense thunderstorms here coming right into southern portions of Pittsburgh County. We'll pan a little farther to the north because we've actually got some pretty strong storms here to the north too. We've got numerous severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing here. McAllister currently under a severe thunderstorm warning, although that tornado warning is not too far now to the south and west, and we might see that tornado warning extended farther north and east. But I do want to track here from, we'll go from Shakota down to Crowder, kind of track the leading edge of this line here, which is packing a bit of a punch. We've had some very strong straight line winds with these storms here as they have been moving off to the east. So this is going to come here. Again, those of you here near Shakota and Eufaula. Timing-wise, we're looking at Pierce at about 7:55, so about 10 more minutes for Pierce. We're looking at Sam's Point at around 8 o'clock, Eufaula at around 8:07, Shakota 8:12, Longtown at around 8:15. Again, that's when we could see those winds really starting to pick up, at times gusting up to about 60 to possibly as high as 70 miles per hour. So again, just stay inside and away from windows as these storms do move in, and we'll have to watch. So far, though, we've seen these storms here stay pretty tame, and as James pointed out earlier, the outflow appears to have kind of rushed out ahead of the main line, and as long as that stays that way, that would really limit the tornado portion, tornado threat with these areas here that I'm tracking here near I-40. So real quick here, let's go and I do want to check here. Let's grab here and pan a little bit farther to the north. And again, I do want to track this line here also from areas here near Boynton and up to near Coweta and over to around Wagner. There you can see the fine line showing up very well here right around the Muskogee area and to the north and here to the west of Muskogee. So that's the leading edge of the actual outflow. The the wind that would be rushing out of the storm. So I'm actually going to do storm track from there and not so much from the rain, but I'm going to track the leading edge of this outflow because that's when the wind is going to pick up. And we'll try this one more time. And again, those of you here just to the north and west of Muskogee, this wind is going to pick up here very shortly. And that's when the wind picks up. The rain will follow a little time after that. But they expect the wind to pick up here near Muskogee about 7:54. The Muskogee-Davis Airport about 7:57. We're looking at Fort Gibson 8:01, Braggs at around 8:10, Tahlequah about 8:16. Again, that's the leading edge of that outflow, the air that's rushing out of the storm. The wind picks up. The rain will follow a bit later. But as long as the outflow stays well ahead of these thunderstorms and the updraft portion of these storms, that will really limit the tornado threat because then the storms don't have a chance to get rooted into the very warm and unstable and highly sheared air mass that's out ahead of it. So as long as that outflow stays out ahead of those thunderstorms, that would be great news regarding the tornado potential, keeping it limited here with this portion of the line. Now, let's zoom out here, and I want to go ahead and take a look at a quick overview of everything. And again, as this line continues to march its way to the east, we've got severe weather with it. We've got flooding concerns with it. It has just been a rough go this morning. You can see the tornado warnings here that are also still ongoing here on the north end and the south end of this line. Kind of in between, we've kept things fairly quiet, but here's that quick overview. You can see we still have the tornado warning here for parts of Craig County, and we still have the tornado warnings here to the south for parts of Pittsburgh County, and then just south of our viewing area into parts of Atoka County under tornado warnings as well. The back edge of the rain is still back here near I-35, so it's going to take a little bit longer for the rain to clear, but once this leading edge of the line clears you, then you are done with the severe weather threat. So that means Tulsa, Bristow, as you head back here to near Stillwater, Bartlesville up to around Pawhuska, Sedan, Kansas, severe threat is done, but we still have the flooding and rainfall threat, and it will take a little bit longer for that to wind down before the back edge of this rain can work its way to the east. And of course, still keeping an eye on that severe weather threat as this line continues to march its way eastward. It has really been a long couple of days, and Chief Meteorologist James Adelot has not gone home, I might say. He came in at 11 o'clock this morning and has been here since. What is the latest you have, James?
Oh, I'd be awake anyway watching these storms, so might as well come to work. It's good food in the vending machine. Here's a look at Craig County. The warning has now expired, so no more tornado warning in Craig County. You can see on the left side of your screen, Greg McLaughlin turning around, road closed across parts of Craig County, Highway 60 and 69 area there, very close to Big Cabin. Let's go further to the south. Now, excuse me, Tulsa all the way back to I-35. We've got more rain that's stacked up, but most of it is light to moderate. We come back into southwestern view from Fort Smith and look right into Pittsburgh County right now because we still have that tornado warning. I was just looking at that a little bit earlier too, and it looks like those rotations that have moved up into Pittsburgh County, they were kind of two a little earlier. They appear to be just a little bit weaker. Let's continue to, I'm going to take this back this direction here. We'll switch that view over toward Twin Lakes and central parts of Oklahoma. So kind of a very weak circulation trying to keep going here west of Savannah. That'll be on the other side of the Army ammunition plant, other side of the bomb plant there. Off to the west of Savannah. We had another circulation that's moving up just to the southeast of Kiowa right now. Again, though, this is pretty weak stuff. I'm not seeing anything super strong, certainly not as strong as it was just a little bit ago. Another closure, ODOT on the scene, Highway 10, Cedar Creek and Nowata County closed due to high water. Let's check in with Fox23 and News 102.3's Skylar Cooper. Skylar, you're in North Tulsa, and give us an update. You're in the damage zone.
Yeah, James, I'm at Newton in St. Louis, and last time we spoke, I was telling you about the man who was pinned inside that house. The tree had fallen on the house, and he was able to get his family out, but he was still in there, and his hand and arm was pinned under a tree. I watched his firefighters got their chainsaws out quickly and did the best they could. They used airbags, they told me, to lift the tree up and blocked it off. They were able to safely pull him out, and I watched as IMSA drove away with him in the back. He's going to be okay. Good news is he's all right. Everybody in the family is okay, and I've been talking to several other neighbors beyond the damage to the homes around here and several trees, that appears to be the only injury, James.
All right, that is fantastic news with, excuse me, a lot of people, you don't think tracking severe weather at 6:30 in the morning on a weekday or a weekend either. And to just have one minor injury is just amazing. And we're so grateful and thankful for that, because that could have been very, very significant with the tornado down, moving right across North Tulsa from just on the north side of downtown over toward Tulsa International Airport. So we're continuing to track our Pittsburg County tornado warning. That's going to be in effect officially until 8:15. Given the fact that these rotations continue to be a little bit weaker, I wouldn't be surprised if that tornado warning gets dropped earlier, at least a little bit early. So far, we're not seeing significant signs that we've got very strong rotation or any imminent tornado about to spin up right now. But if we look to the west of McAllister, right in this area along 270 and back toward 31, here's the McAllister Airport. If a little earlier we were looking at a little bit of rotation kind of in this area, but it just does not look nearly as strong as it did. Let's go a little further south, because we had the other circulation that was just kind of to the southeast of Kiowa. And again, that one had looked a little bit weaker. Let's check in right now on that, just kind of to the southeast. So we've got, let's see, Savannah and then Kiowa. So we're looking just kind of to the southeast here. I'm going to zoom in to this part of southern Pittsburg County, and we'll look right in here to the southeast of Kiowa, because this was the other spot that we had seen a little bit of rotation, and we still have a little bit. It's broad, it's not quite as strong, but it continues now east of Highway 69, and as this moves to the northeast, it will cross the Indian Nation Turnpike, most likely between Daisy and up toward McAllister right now. But again, it just does not look strong enough to make me think we've got any kind of imminent circulation with it. Now, we do have new severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for kind of upstream from this thunderstorm complex, and that also for 60-mile-per-hour wind. As we kind of look into that Pittsburg County storm, just not seeing anything super suspicious with it right now. We do have a little bit of rotation just to the southeast of Kiowa, and that's what we're seeing kind of right in here. So just to the southeast of Kiowa, we've got a little bit of rotation. This has now moved out of Atoka County into Pittsburg County. But again, it looks like the main threat from this may end up being just regular old thunderstorm wind. Because of that, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that goes all the way into parts of Latimer, even clips parts of Haskell County, covers the rest of Pittsburg County that's not in the warning. But as soon as we get out of the tornado warning at 8:15, we'll go back to Fox23 News and continue to track these storms as they move across parts of southeastern Oklahoma. Again, the circulation is not super strong with these right now. It has come down just a little bit, but as these storms continue to move to the east, they still could contain some hail, probably up maybe 1-inch hail, and also some 60-mile-per-hour wind. And we're still watching that these could produce at least a couple of tornadoes in Pittsburg County, but so far that circulation has not tightened up too far either. So that's kind of the story with the Pittsburg County storm as we continue with the tornado warning that's in effect until 8:15. We're coming up on 8 o'clock now, Michael. We've got kind of wall-to-wall severe thunderstorms, but all of it is east of Tulsa. There is no threat in the Tulsa area right now.
Yeah, the threat in Tulsa for severe weather has ended. And again, we'll still have some rain that's going to linger through much of the morning before it has a chance to dry out. So that is certainly not going to help with the flooding potential, but most of that rain should stay fairly light. The leading edge here of this line of storms continues to march its way to the east. Great news with that circulation that we have been tracking here. Basically, since it first started back near the Tulsa Metro, all the way up into Craig County, that circulation has since weakened, and tornado warning has been allowed to expire there. So great news, but we do have severe thunderstorm warnings here on the leading edge of this line. Let's just kind of go up and down the line here for you, and we'll do tracks as we go along the way. Main concern here will be straight line winds gusting up to about 60 miles per hour, and on top of that, the rain that we're going to get out of these storms because of the heavy rain that we have already seen. So you can see now the leading edge of this line now already coming up over here, parts of Grand Lake and back here to near Spavinaw. So let's do a quick track here with this storm, and not wasting any time here as it continues to push off to the east and even north and east. So as that track continues here, again, those of you here around Grove and Grand Lake, it's going to get loud here if you're not already hearing the thunder already. And that wind will pick up and the rain will pick up. So we're looking here at around Dennis at 7:58, Grove eventually around 8:07, and Jay at about 8:15. So again, that's the timing for this portion of the line. We'll head a little bit farther down the line. I'll remove that track and let's pan a little bit farther here to the south. And again, thankfully no tornado threat with this portion of the line. But we are going to be dealing with some very strong winds and some heavy rain. You can see there near Spavinaw. We'll go a little bit farther here to the south near Salina. And let's do a quick track here too, coming right through Locust Grove, kind of marching right down Highway 412 here. And then it kind of arcs back here to the north or to the south and to the west, back down to around Wagner. And then again, continues to march here to the east. So timing for those of you east of this portion of the line, we're looking at Wagner here. We're just within the next 3 minutes or so. Yonkers at about 8:06. Sequoia State Park around 8:16 or 8:10, excuse me, 8:16 around Peggs. Hobart around 8:19. Little Kansas around 8:24. Lowry about 8:28, and Tahlequah at about 8:33. So again, that's when we're going to see the winds pick up. Actually, the winds will probably pick up a little bit before then. That fine line we've got here is going to be the wind picking up first. That's when the heavy rain will start to move on in. So we'll remove that track and let's go a little bit farther down the line. And again, thankfully, nothing regarding any tornado threat within this portion of the line. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, but as long as that outflow stays out ahead of the line, that will keep the tornado threat at bay. So here we are now coming back down into Muskogee and back here a little bit farther to the south and to the west near Boynton. And again, doing a quick track here. Again, nothing of major concern for tornadoes here in Muskogee, but we are going to have some strong winds moving on through. So let me track this here back over to the west here of Shakota, coming right over Muskogee as well. So we're looking at Muskogee about 8:06. We're looking at Summit at about 8:10, Shakota 8:12, Muskogee Davis Airport 8:17. Braggs as we head to about 8:30. Again, winds are going to pick up a little before then. That's when the rain's also going to pick up. Just be a little extra cautious as these storms do move through. The flood potential will be something we're going to have to watch as well. And as we go back to the south, we had those tornado warnings here into parts of Pittsburgh County. And so we'll have to watch that too. So let's pan a little bit farther here to the south. We'll take you here. There's Eufaula in the parts of McIntosh County, and there's still our tornado warning here with this line moving off to the north and to the east. But that being said, we haven't had a lot of rotation in here as of recently. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. And again, as we're watching this line, we're now at 8 o'clock in the morning, and Fox23 News continues here through 8 o'clock, and we continue with severe weather coverage as severe storms are marching their way across green country. We've had tornado warnings throughout the morning, and again, we've also got severe thunderstorm warnings continuing and the flood threat. It has been a very busy couple of days. You can see the large severe thunderstorm warning we have here for this line, and that makes me believe that the tornado warning that we have in effect here may not be continued, but we'll have to keep an eye on that here because that circulation could always wrap right back up. But I'm going to track this. We'll track the entire line itself for the severe thunderstorm warning here, as this is going to be moving up here to near Eufaula. Those of you here near Hartshorn and Wilburton, and up to around Kinter and Stigler. I do want to get you guys here in this one as well. So timing wise here, Krebs, in the next couple of minutes, Hartshorn, we're looking about to 8:14. Eufaula about 8:22, Longtown 8:27, Wilburton 8:36. Again, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts can be main concern here with this line moving on through. Eventually to around Wilburton at 8:36, Kinta about 8:46. Porham 8:50, and Stigler just before 9 o'clock here. So within the next hour, this line should be making its way up to your area. So main concern right now as that line tracks to the north and to the east with a severe thunderstorm warning here in effect for those of you will be the straight line wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. But this area, these thunderstorms have had a history of rotation, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well